Today the 15th, my phone's filling up.
It's not going by fast.
That shit is gonna be heavy like that, man. Confident, but they don't see it now. So I want to keep our confident and keep our strong and go ahead, they don't see it now. I might start doing some fertilization now. There's always a moment that scripture that is sweet like honey, bitter to the stomach.
I mean, it's a sad thing too.
It's sad, man.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
It's One Nation Israelite School. And we host with the most Commander Judea and Whitney.
Solomon the Benjamite.
All right, we're here for another controversial topic. The Hispanics are not Israelites, part 2. So, as we go into this controversial topic, part 2, you'll come to see that now this is just a version of the nail in the coffin. You must watch part 1 to get the lineage and everything, the full breakdown, the disapproval, and then this will be the icing on the cake. All right. So with that being said, we're going to send up the prayers to the Most High. Ooh. Thank you, Father God, for another day, another night. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for all your blessings. Forgive us for all our sins, those that are known and unknown, and all our shortcomings. Give us the strength to overcome the demons that we fight on a day-to-day basis. Father God, give us the strength to gird ourselves up in thy law, statutes, and commandments, that we may walk right by thy name and by thy statutes all the days of our lives, that we pray for your mercy and your grace, that we may be able to get ourselves in order, and that we may gain mercy from thee, that we can enter into the kingdom on that great day. We thank you for opening our eyes to understanding, Father God. We pray that the rest of the congregations amongst who are gathering in Israel, that they come to the same understanding, that they may do what is in thy will to deliver Israel from sin. And Father God, we pray for the strength of our each individual within our school. We pray for the Israelites scattered amongst the four corners of the earth. Father God, we ask that in all things you continue to reveal your messages to us. Give us understanding of thy milk, thy precepts, and thy strong meats. And Father God, we ask that you lead us and let us not be deceived, that we may be able to walk right. In your Son Christ's name, we thank you for the abundance of all these things. Amen.
Amen.
All right. All right. Shalom. Shalom. All right. So, test see if you work.
Shalom, shalom.
All right. All right. So, as you know, we went through the genealogy and did some serious breaking down and disproving of the doctrine that the Hispanics of Indian descent and Indians of indigenous people and stuff like that are not Israel. You have to come from Negro descendant to be an Israelite. And you can see all of that in part 1. Okay, so now part 2, we're gonna go through and we're gonna kind of poke at the doctrine a little bit. We're gonna go through and put icing on the cake. All right. So now in this here, in this class, I'm gonna let you hear them tell you from their own mouth that they're not your people. I'm going to let you see clips of how they actually feel about you when it comes to relationships. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of footage on how the Indians actually had you in slavery. So I'm going to give you a couple clips, and we're going to go through the scriptures and beat this doctrine up a little bit more. All right. So let's do it. So first and foremost, let's go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26.
Genesis chapter 1.
You're right. And we're also going to go through and show that foolishness about how we would look different and all this other stuff.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image.
All right, so the Most High said, let us make men in our image. Let us make men in our image, right? So now, look, what was his image? Let's go to Daniel. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. So it said, we're going to make man in our image. And then we want to know what is his image? Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
So the Ancient of Days is the Most High. This is where he sit, right? Come on.
Whose garment was white as snow.
Go ahead.
And the hairs of his head like the pure wool.
So the hairs of the heads of the Most High was like wool. It's like wool. Go ahead.
His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
All right, that's it.
That was it.
All right. So to be made in his image, first off, you had to have woolly hair. Okay. So now let's go back to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis. Read 1 and 26 again.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness.
After our likeness. Okay. So the Most High, we already found out the Most High had woolly hair. That's what today you people call nappy.
Right.
Or it looks like sheep. The hair looks like it's similar to the way sheep's look.
Yeah, the sheep wool.
Right. The people that they're saying is Israel have goat hair.
That's tough.
Now the scripture in Matthew tells he gonna separate the sheep from the goats.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that analogy out there. So now he said also in his likeness. So now let's go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. And the Lord formed man of the dust of the ground.
Now, what color is the dust of the ground?
Well, it's black.
So, in his likeness would mean Most High and Christ had to be black, and he created a man in his image and in his likeness, meaning he created a black man with woolly hair. From the dust of the ground, he would be black. All right. So now, watch this. To prove from the dust of the ground would be black, get me Jeremiah 14 and 2.
Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground.
They are black unto the ground. So guess what? When he formed man in his image and in his likeness, he gave him woolly hair, and he was black. Black. Christ was black. The Most High was black. And the man he created is black. Okay. So now let's get some more black. Let's get some more black. Go to Solomon, who's from the tribe of Judah. Solomon 1 and 5.
The Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
Right. So now read that again.
I am black.
Here's what?
I am black.
Read it backwards.
Black am I.
Let's get some more black. Let's go to Job 30 and 30. What we come to realize is all these brothers that we touch, they lived in different times, but they still identifying and saying they look what color?
Black.
Job chapter 30, verse 30.
Job chapter 30 and verse 30. My skin is black upon me.
So he said his skin is black upon him. So Job is black. We steady reading about people being black. Okay, now let's go to Jeremiah 8 and 20. 8 and 21, Salaki.
Jeremiah chapter 8 and verse 21. For the hurt of the daughter of my people, I am hurt. I am black. Astonishment have taken hold on me.
Right. He is black. Jeremiah tells you he's black. We getting black everywhere. We was made in the image of the Most High in Christ. Woolly hair, black skin. Okay. And all these people are what? Israelites. All right. So we got Jeremiah. Let's go to Lamentations 5 and 10.
Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 10. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine.
Right. So our skins are black. All we doing is reading nothing but black, but black, but black, but black, but black. Let's get Christ. Revelations 1:14.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So once again, Christ has woolly hair. Just like every last one of you people of Negroid descent. You have woolly hair. Go ahead.
As white as snow.
Go ahead.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet like unto fine brass.
His feet was like fine brass. Fine brass is like a brown color. Go ahead.
As if they burned in a furnace.
But as if they burned in a furnace. So it's telling you, they all said it was black, but it's really just saying that they were dark brown.
Right.
Dark brown. Christ was so black, it looked like he stepped out of a furnace. He was a very, very dark brown.
Right.
Okay. So now, that's how the Israelites look. Now, let's go to Amos chapter 9, verse 7. That's how they look. And the Israelites were black, and they will always be black. Amos chapter 9, verse 7.
Amos chapter 9 and verse 7. Amos chapter 9 and verse 7. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me? O children of Israel, saith the Lord, have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Kaphathra, and the Syrians from Kir.
Right. So the scripture says he brought them out of those lands, right? But when he brought them out of the land, he said they look like what again?
Ethiopians.
He said, look like Ethiopians. Anybody in here confused about what an Ethiopian looks like?
Nope.
Ethiopian is black, dark skinned. Okay. It says, are you not like the Ethiopians to me? Why? Because they are black and they have always been black.
Right.
They will always be black. And that's why when you think about go to Jeremiah 13:23. Jeremiah 13 and 23. He said, are you not like the Ethiopians? Meaning you look like them.
13:23.
Right.
Jeremiah chapter 13 and verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin?
Hold on. Now, what color is Ethiopian?
Black.
He said, now, can an Ethiopian change his skin? Come on.
His spot?
And can a leopard change his spots? The answer to that is no. So that's telling you what? That if we were like the children of the Ethiopians to the Most High, it's telling you we are black. And if our skin is like the spots of a leopard, they can't change it. Meaning, guess what? You would always be black. You would always be black.
Jeremiah 13 and 23.
It says you will always be black. A leopard can't change his spots. Just like a zebra can't strip his stripes.
Yeah.
And the Ethiopian can't change his skin.
Nope.
They were black then, they are black now. case. And that's the real, to be honest with you, that's the real confusion of faces.
Right.
A real confusion of faces is, dang, is he look like me? Is he Israel? That not
Right.
the confusion of faces ain't me blatantly looking at you and seeing you look like a cracker. And then tomorrow, are you the same people as me? I can look at you and see that me and you are two different people.
Right.
But me and an Ethiopian, when we look at each other, okay, all right, dang, he do kind of look like us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got our color. So what you would have to do is wait to see his spirit revealed.
Right.
But it's not talking about me looking at this dude and he looks like a Caucasian and I'm talking about, oh, you know, Israel been confusing the faces. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. You're fooling yourself. Why? Because we are scattered amongst all people. And guess what? When you scatter amongst all people, in those, it's only Negroes getting spread out like that. So guess what? I'll bump into the brothers that look, I don't know if you really Israel or not.
Right.
I have to wait to see what happens. But it's not talking about somebody that don't look absolutely nothing like you. And you talking about you confused if he Israel or not. Well, how you confused? Y'all don't look nothing alike.
Right.
Okay.
Just like when Christ went to go hide amongst the people in Egypt.
I'm gonna get that too.
I was gonna say that's confusion of faces. How do you think they lost them?
All right, so it says, can an Ethiopian change his skin, neither a leopard change their spots? No, we was always black and we will always be black. And then they try to give that damn lie to my because Ephraim mixed himself with the people. I'm gonna deal with that in a minute too. So watch this. So let's show some more black. Let's show some more black real quick. Go to Matthew's chapter 2, verse 13.
Matthew chapter 2 and verse 13. Matthew chapter 2 and verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream.
Right. So this is after the what was it? 3 wise men came and gave gifts.
Right.
Right. So after they departed, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in his dream. And what happened?
Saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
So take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt. Is the end of that verse?
No.
Read through 15.
And be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. And he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. And was there until the death of Herod, that it may be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son.
Right. So now, they ran to Egypt. Now, why would they run to Egypt?
Because the people look like them.
Right, because I can have, if you black, it would make no sense for you to run to a predominantly white country.
All right, these people is going to take their time coming to look for you because you're going to be easy to spot out.
But if you're black, it makes perfectly good sense for you to run to a predominantly black country.
All right.
Because you can blend in. All right. So now, they ran to Egypt. Why? Because they look like the people. Watch this. Exodus 11 and 7. Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7.
Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7. Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord does put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
So the Most High said, I put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel, meaning we look alike. We can share the same complexion, but we're different people.
Right.
So Christ ran to Egypt because he could blend in, or Joseph ran with Christ and his family into Egypt because they could blend in amongst other black skins.
Right.
Everybody know the Egyptians and the Ethiopians are dark-skinned people.
Right.
Nobody can argue that. Okay, so they ran there, and it says that he would be there until that time. And the Most High was saying that, guess what? I put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Israel and the Egyptians look alike, but they are two totally different people.
All right.
Okay, so though we look alike, there's a difference. We're not the same people. So where does the pale skin verses come in for Israel? Where do we get the pale skin verses for Israel? I'll give you one. Isaiah 29, verse 22. Isaiah chapter 29 and the 22nd verse.
Isaiah chapter 29. You said the 22nd verse?
Yes.
Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 22. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale.
Neither shall his face wax pale. So guess what that telling? What does that say?
It's over.
That the Israelites are not a pale people. They will not wax pale. Because somebody in here that knows something about genetics or DNA, people have what type of genes?
Dominant genes.
Dominant genes. So to have pale skin, uncolored hair, stuff like that, what do they call those traits?
Recessive.
Recessive traits. So if you are dominant people, which always brings you back to this bogus 12 tribe chart. If you are people with dominant genes, how do more of them coming out looking recessive than dominant?
All right.
That don't make sense.
No, it wouldn't.
By that logic, if you believe in the 12 tribe chart, you will never get past the first tribe if you battling me. Yeah. Why? Because the first tribe they say is, what's his name?
Reuben.
The firstborn is Reuben. Now, what do they say Reuben is? What do they tell you Reuben is? Huh? Okay, so they say Reuben is a Seminole Indian. Well, who's Reuben's mother?
It was Leah, right?
Leah, right. All right. Who's Reuben's dad?
Abraham. Not Abraham, Jacob.
Jacob, right. So Jacob is a Negro, ain't he?
Right.
Leah is his cousin, which is a Negro, right?
Right.
So you're telling me the firstborn of this man, the firstborn of Israel is a damn Indian?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. How does that even make sense?
So the oldest child in the nation of Israel is a Indian, coming from two black mothers. I mean, coming from two cousins who are both black.
Oh man. Yeah.
How do you get four kids from two cousins have four kids together, and they have two that's indigenous looking, and indigenous people, which are Indians or whatever you want to call them, and then the other two Negroes?
Oh, they gotta explain that one, please.
It don't make sense.
The very first child that came out.
The very first child is not a nigger, it's an Indian.
Damn, that's impossible. Excuse my language, but that
it makes no sense. And then when you do the research, you find out that the Seminoles wasn't even one tribe. It was a multitude of people together, and they gave them the title as Seminoles.
Right.
So that like I told you, when I break down the 12 tribes, because everything we've been taught has been orchestrated and built, predicated off of somebody's own feelings and a lie. I'm going to literally have to reteach y'all the 12 tribe breakdown.
That's tough.
And you will see that it was all false. So anybody else in here, does that make sense to you that the firstborn of Israel is an Indian, not a Negro?
I'm telling you, houseway.
All of us should be Indians.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't tell me my dad and my mama had another kid and it's Indian.
Right.
No, that don't make sense.
I'm like, daddy, mama was cheating.
Right. So
look at that.
The scriptures say that Israel should never wax pale.
Right.
So now when you think about that, that leads me to the next lie. And y'all know every time I do a refusion class, I like to humiliate one of the lies they tell, which is what I kept saying this week, the IHOP doctrine.
There you go.
Let's touch the IHOP doctrine. You brothers was hungry when you made that doctrine. That scripture don't mean nothing about no complexion. Y'all was just hungry.
So I like pancakes too.
Yeah, but we ain't gonna make a doctrine out of it.
Nah, I'm just gonna eat them.
The pancake doctrine. Let's get it. Hosea chapter 7 and verse 8, please. We're gonna touch the IHOP doctrine scripture real quick.
Hosea chapter 7 and verse 8. Hosea chapter 7 and verse 8. Ephraim, himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Right. So now, not you. Can anybody tell me what they try to tell you that verse means?
Their skin is not dark. Pretty much like explaining why their skin is the way it is.
I need you to give it to me more in depth. You kind of
That they're gonna be light skin and dark skin.
right. It's saying it was unturned cake, meaning. I tell them how the theory was broke down, because they both of y'all kind of answered it. Both of y'all answered it the right way, but there's a certain way I wanted it to be said the same way they be saying it.
What they say is that it's like an unturned cake, right? So they're trying to say one side of the cake gonna be dark, while the top of the I'm stop laughing. All right, they say the bottom half gonna be dark because it was left in too long overnight, but the top half still gonna be light. So that's how Ephraim gonna be. Some of them gonna be dark, some of them gonna be light.
Yeah. So the IHOP doctrine is if you put a cake in the oven,
Too long.
you put a cake in the oven, and you don't turn it, one side gonna be light and the bottom part gonna be dark. And they say from that's telling you that Ephraim would be some of them be real light and some of them would be real dark.
All right.
And I said, okay, if you put a cake in the oven, for those who bake cakes, if you put a cake in the oven and you fall asleep,
That whole thing.
Right.
For those that bake, you don't turn the cake in the oven.
Right.
say that. Say, you gotta say that again, because some people don't got enough sense to think about that.
You don't turn the baked cake.
You can't. You gonna mess the cake up.
Yes. It's all the way through, and it's gonna be the same color, top and bottom.
Right. See, because I worked in the kitchen.
Right. And if you just so happen to fall asleep and let the cake bake all through the night, what part of that cake gonna be light?
Middle.
Depending on how long
It's gonna be ash.
because Because remember, I seen a dude fall asleep, right? And when he got the cake, he had to beat the knife into it. And when he finally got the knife through it, the whole cake just shot out.
I'm telling you. And then if you so dumb enough to leave that cake in the oven all night, just wake up with a fireman at your house and the police not kicking in your door.
That house
You
gonna
want
be
the house
smoked up.
Jordan, you dead?
So based off of that teaching that if you leave a cake unturned, one part gonna be light and the other side gonna be dark. Based off of that, brothers literally start posting pictures of pancakes cooking at IHOP, and they had one part getting cooked and the other part while they ain't flipped the pancake yet, saying, "See, even with unturned cake, one side dark, other side light."
But you can't keep the cake like that. You're gonna have to cook the other side too.
I said that is a IHOP doctrine. That's where I got that saying from. IHOP doctrine. So now, read verse 8 again.
Verse 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is, come on, man. Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Now, Ephraim is a cake not turned. And they always say, you see how I said he mixed himself among the people? They say, see, it's because he mixed himself with the people. He was having sex with the people. That's why he lost his color. Why someone be real to say he mixed himself with the people or among the people? So here's the thing. Remember, I always told y'all, they taught us the doctrine by going directly to the verse.
All right.
Let's go back to verse 1 and see if this has anything to do with complexion.
Oh, man. Dude.
Let's go back to verse 1 and read up.
Hosea chapter 7 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
When I was Israel, then the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered.
Hold on. What did that just say?
Right.
He says, when he would have healed Ephraim, the sins of Ephraim was revealed.
Right.
Let's go.
And the wickedness of Samaria for they have committed falsehood, and the theft cometh in, the thief cometh in.
All right, watch this.
and the troop of robbers spoileth without.
All right. So now check this out. What we need to do is let's first find out why the Most High told us to stop dealing with Ephraim. Give me Hosea 4:17.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
So Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. What does it mean if you join to idols? What are you in the midst of? Idolatry. So now when we go back to Hosea chapter 7 verse 1, it's still talking about Ephraim's sin. What sin is that?
Idolatry.
Okay, read on.
And they consider not in their hearts that I remember all their wickedness. Now their own doings they are before my face. They make the king glad with their wickedness.
They make the king glad with their wickedness. Come on.
And the princes with their lies. They are all adulterers.
What type of adulterers? Is this talking about literal adultery or is it physical? I mean, spiritual. It's spiritual adultery they're in the midst of. Let's go.
As an oven heated by the baker.
As an oven heated by the baker. Come on.
Who ceaseth from rising after he hath knead the dough.
So he done netted some dough. To knead dough is like, you know how you beat it to the leaven out of it and stuff like that. So he done netted the dough, but he done ceased to rise up. Come on.
Until to be leavened.
Come on.
In the day of our king, the princes have made him sick with bottles of wine. He stretched out his hand with scorn. But they have made ready their hearts.
They made what?
They have made ready their heart.
They made what?
Ready their heart.
What is the heart? Your mind. They made ready their mind as an oven. Come on.
Like an oven. While they lay in wait, their baker sleepeth all night.
Here we go.
All night.
Watch this. The baker sleepeth all night. Watch this. Come on.
In the morning it burneth as a flaming fire.
You
can't do that, coach. Can't keep that. I'm telling you.
Like your heart, if your heart is burned, it's the same thing as saying your mind is almost seared.
Right.
Come on.
They are all hot as an oven.
They are hot as an oven.
And have devoured their judges. All their kings are fallen. There is none among them that calleth unto me.
They devour their judges, all their kings are fallen, and none of them have called on me. So what is it saying? They haven't turned their hearts back to the Most High. Their hearts are still stuck in idolatry.
Right.
Watch this. Here's the infamous lie. Read the verse.
Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned.
So now when you read that, I even have close to an illusion this is talking about a complexion. Okay. Now I could tell you that, but of course it wouldn't be befitting if I didn't beat the doctrine all the way up to show you it's a lie. So it says he mixed himself among the people, not with the people. Precept. Psalms 106. Yeah. 30. Start at 34.
Shit, what?
You probably saw me post it.
106 and 34.
Yeah.
Psalm chapter 106 and verse 34. They did not destroy the nations, concerning whom the Lord commanded them.
So they didn't destroy the nations who the Lord commanded them. Come on.
But were mingled among the heathen.
They were what?
Mingled among
they do.
And learned their works.
They learned their works and did what?
And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them.
So when it said he mixed himself among the people, what was it talking about?
He went into their ways.
Bingo. Their customs, their practices, and their idols.
He went into their ways.
They went into idolatry, which was the whole reason the Most High told us to what?
Get rid of them. Don't deal with them.
Bingo.
Yeah, like they even did back then.
So watch this. Now, he's a cake unturned. So now, are y'all clear on the mixed among the people part?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get the unturned cake part. To be unturned. Now, if you understand what we already went through, you can kind of already tell what the unturned part is talking about.
All right.
Let's go to Jeremiah though, just so y'all can have it. Jeremiah chapter 31 and get verse 18 and 19. So this will be the unturned part here. So the mixed among the people is talking about mixed among them and starts basically in idolatry, not talking about literally having sex with them. Okay, and the unturned part is this here.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 18. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus. Thou hast chastened me, and I was chastened as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke, and I shall be turned.
He said, turn thou me, and I shall be turned.
But thou art the Lord my God.
Come on.
Surely after that I was turned.
Turned.
I repented.
So when it says when it says Ephraim is an unturned cake, what is it saying? He has unrepented. Right. He's unrepented at the time. He says, now finish this verse out.
And after that I was instructed. I smote upon my thigh. I was ashamed.
So after the Most High turned him, he repented, and then he became ashamed. Come on.
Yeah, even confounded.
And confounded.
Because I did bear the reproach of my youth.
Right, because he bared the reproach of his youth. So now, here's the point of that. He's an unturned cake, meaning he's unrepentant. So at this point in time, when you read in Hosea chapter 7, all it's telling you is he's still unrepentant at that time. Don't let these camps fool you. I told you when I went back and started doing this, I said, man, I feel so stupid.
I'm telling you, coach.
I felt stupid, man. And instantly I felt guilt and everything, because you know what? What if I never reached some of the people I taught their lies to?
Right.
That blood is on my hands.
Right.
That's why I repented and just ask y'all to forgive me for anything that we may have taught you. And now we coming back and saying, okay, look, this is the real way.
Right.
All right. So now that we beat that lie up, everybody clear that verse is not talking about no damn complexion. All right.
So clear.
All righty. What I want to do is, now that we got that out of the way, I want to show you out of these people's own mouth that they know they're not your people. So let's go ahead and get the cameras and stuff up to the TV where they can see it. I'm gonna let you hear them tell you out their own mouth what them other people in Israel who trying to stake claim to it. We Israelite, we Ephraim, we this. I'm gonna let you hear the other people tell you. Their own people tell you clearly that they're not your people.
I'm gonna get tough, coach. Good job.
Y'all gotta forgive us, y'all. I already know we ain't too tech savvy up in here, but we good enough. That's good enough. All right.
I'll go ahead and squeeze in the mic.
So, anybody on Facebook to see what it look like? It still ain't caught up. Okay, good. Turn the volume up on the TV. I want them to hear this.
Is that good?
All right, that's good. All right, y'all. So here goes the first clip. Oh, hold on. Let's go back. Hold on, it's gonna play through there, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What am I doing? Y'all forgive me. I accidentally left what I had. No. Let's get my list up. Come on, man.
You just had to click it right, like he's on it. Because it'll be
Here you go, right here. It's just taking forever to play it for some reason.
It's really tripping.
I think that's the one I had to take my phone.
It's crazy.
Take mine out too.
No, I ain't supposed-
I'll go back and watch it.
Inside my DNA, cocaine corner piece, now war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
All right, y'all. Y'all forgive me.
Flow inside my DNA. I was born like this, is born like this, immaculate conception, not transformed like this before.
I got this clip. I want y'all to see it. Listen.
You used to handle this shit, right? You get him my form. But you know what? Nigga, shut like that. Nigga, bitch ass nigga. He always gonna try. You know what, my nigga? Oh, he gonna say something, bitch ass nigga. Listen.
What's up with that guy, man?
Okay, y'all forgive us. The internet is actually tripping right now. So we're gonna have to.
That's crazy.
We gotta.
Okay. I'm not gonna show his own record. We gotta help. But there was a lot of bullshit behind this shit. There was a lot of bullshit calling me racist. They fucking racist.
This is crazy.
I got all my workers are black. But you know what, nigga? Shut like that. Nigga, bitch ass nigga. He always gonna try. You know what, my nigga? Oh, he gonna say something, bitch ass nigga. Listen, bitch. Okay. I'm not gonna show his own record. We gotta help. But there was a lot of bullshit behind this shit. There was a lot of bullshit calling me racist. They fucking racist. I got all my workers are black and Spanish. If I'm raised, I'm probably raised to get white. I ain't got no white work for me. I guess they don't want to work for me.
Well, you Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican, you're right. I'm half European, but my family from Europe.
Okay.
All Latinos got Europeans in them.
You got more
We all mixed with Europeans, bro. And some of us got black in us. It's the black Puerto Ricans you see, they the ones that are Africans in them. And the light-skinned ones are Europeans. But we all mixed up with our country.
Hold on. This language, y'all, but y'all gotta hear it. Y'all gotta hear what he said.
That's tough.
I see them say it from their own
So
mouth.
they went into our country. Yep.
So watch
I'm
this.
Puerto Rican, you're right. I'm half European, but my family from Europe.
Okay.
All Latinos got Europeans in them.
You got more
We all mixed with Europeans, bro. And some of us got black in us. It's the black Puerto Ricans you see, they the ones that are Africans in them. And the light-skinned ones are Europeans. But we all mixed up with our countries because they went into our country and they stole our countries. That's why Puerto Rico is where it is at today. Because they stole our country from us.
Let me remix it for you. Watch this.
Well, you Puerto Rican.
Yeah, Puerto Rican, you're right. I'm half European. I'm half European. I'm half European because my family from Europe.
Okay.
All Latinos got Europeans in them.
I'm gonna remix
All
it for you.
Latinos got Europeans in them.
You got more
We all mixed with Europeans, bro. And some of us got black in us. It's the black Puerto Ricans you see, they the ones that are Africans in them. It's the black Puerto Ricans you see, they the ones that are Africans in them. It's the black Puerto Ricans you see, they the ones that are Africans in them. And the light-skinned ones are Europeans. But we all mixed up with our countries because they went into our country and they stole our countries. That's why Puerto Rico is where it is at today. Because they stole our country from us.
That's all I needed. That's all we needed. That's all we needed. So
You just broke down. You just broke it down, man.
so now let's
crazy.
turn the camera back to us so we can talk a little bit. I just want y'all to see this.
Oh my God.
He just all right. You heard it from his own mouth.
I remember, even that's crazy. Because even if you look over there, I watched a video a long time ago where Ephraim brother, he had an afro woolly hair, and he said no, they're not. He said they white. He said, we blacks, look how he said, look where we live at over here in our communities. He said, we're poor. We're looked at as slaves over here by them. That's why if you look at Telemundo, who you see all over the TV? The ones with the white skin.
So, clip number 1, he said we all mixed. But he instantly goes in telling you how to identify the difference between them.
All right.
He say us, that's the white and light-skinned, we the ones that got the European. The ones that you see that's dark, then the ones that have African, aka Israelites. So he tells you what it is, not borrowing nothing back. Okay, so now that right there is one of the things I'm like, okay, this brother, not a brother, but this heathen letting you know what it is up front. He letting you know that his people are European. And I'm gonna mute this. Let's see if I can mute it as I try to let it load up. All right, so now, who else is gonna? Okay, it looks like it's already ready to go. I should have told you to keep the chair up, just turn the camera, because we're finna pull it right back to the TV. So, you ready? We're gonna move this camera back up.
That's why I used to always say, if you want to know the truth, go talk to the people who are from over there, who's from that land.
I don't know why you wouldn't just pull the chair like everybody else.
Oh man, he had that in the Matrix.
You don't have a class with a camera and I failed 3 times.
His face, man. Good job. That was funny, good.
All right, so right there. Okay, so what's it doing?
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes like if you take it anywhere else except for that side, it won't.
All right, so what we're gonna do is go to the next clip and show you what happens over there.
And her interaction with a producer, Young Hollywood, who's also on the show, started a whole conversation about, well, here's what he said about Amara's hair, and then we're going to tell you how Amara's skin has now become an issue as well.
Let's say we were actually to take off something and do a record, right? And I'm like, yo, I need you to look a certain way.
What would a certain way look like? Like what do you have in mind?
A little bit more Beyonce, a little less Macy Gray. You know, you gotta be a little more sensual. You know, the Afro is cool. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like a video here and there, certain look, but maybe try something different looks. You can see Beyonce just like this, soul system, the same way you can see her come in a beautiful gown, elegant, breathtaking.
So I can't be elegant if I have a fro? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so.
Young Hollywood, you didn't put your foot in your mouth. So that became a huge issue. And so Amara is joining us right now, but we're also going to talk about
now
after
watch
people
this.
saw that scene.
Watch what she's gonna say. People used to say about her.
Whether or not Amara is darkening her skin. I don't know what the answer is to that and why this has become a thing, but she's joining us right now, so we'll get to the bottom of all of this. Amara, welcome to TMZ Live. How you doing?
Hi, good and yourself. I am happy to be here with you guys today.
Well, hey, we're happy you're here. So first of all, what's your reaction to that?
Honestly, at the moment, I was upset. It's not new to me that that I do get judged by the way that I look, being an Afro-Latina. I call it the brainwash mentality of the industry, where they consider that you have to have a certain standard of beauty in order to succeed, which I'm totally against. Young Hollywood writer, I did just get signed to a major label, so how about that?
Okay, yeah. I'm curious. There's an overlay to all of this. You remember, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago, when Beyonce took a lot of heat because she did a L'Oreal ad and it looked like they lightened the picture.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's become kind of a recurring theme, that advertisers and sometimes artists have tried lightening their skin, and which is very counterproductive in many, many ways. But I'm just curious what you think of that, and whether you think that's what caused him to say what he said.
No, I mean, I'm coming from the Latin market for the most part, and the reason why I was being vocal is because they never project Latin women like myself in any platform, whether it's novelas, musically, movies, nothing. When they talk about the Latina, and I always refer to them, they always talk about J-Lo, Shakira, Sofia Vergara. That's the prototype of what Latina should look like.
Right.
But if you look like myself, you're kind of lost in the map. You're not Latina because you're too black to be Latina or whatever. I'm coming from the Latin market. I know that for the most part, and the reason why I was being vocal after all is because they never project Latin women like myself in any platform, whether it's novelas, musically, movies, nothing. When they talk about the Latina, and I always refer to them, they always talk about J-Lo, Shakira.
And I always refer to them.
She made a difference right now.
J-Lo and all these other people, right? Who have gold hair and white skin.
Right.
Sofia Vergara, that's the prototype of what Latina should look like.
Right.
But if you look like myself, you're kind of lost in the map. You're not Latina because you're too black to be Latina or whatever the case may be. So then that's why I'm really fighting for, like, what's wrong with me? I'm talented. I'm smart. So what's the issue? So then as far as the
they say you too black to be Latina.
Man,
now here's the thing. They obviously know we the damn fools who keep trying to beat these people to make them believe they Israel.
Right.
But they saying to her clearly, you too dark to be a Latina.
Right.
So they obviously know.
Man, look, Esau like to hide a lot of information from us, but we're the only people who don't want to go search it out. It's like we lazy as hell. We don't want to do it.
All right. So now what's going to happen is she's going to talk about the thing about the people saying that she be darkening her skin. And she's going to say something, and then I'm going to say something when she finished. Watch this.
I've had the pressure somewhat, and I've been told, oh, you should be lighter or you should do this. I would never change my skin color. I love my color. And just like, there's this rumor or this, that I'm doing blackface, or that I take melanin shots or pills to make my skin darker. Why would I do that if I'm already black? Like, I don't get it. I'm not. I mean, feel free to rub me, and I've done it. I've rubbed myself and to prove to people I am naturally black. I am not trying to spray tan my skin to make it any darker.
You're not pulling a Rachel Dolezal.
I'm not.
All right. So when she answers the question, say, why would she do that? She's already black. Why would that make sense to me? Because if she's already been blackballed, why the hell would she take another effort to make herself darker? That don't make sense. So right here, she clearly telling you that them people say you too dark to be Latina.
Right.
So clearly they know the difference.
Right.
We the only ones who can't seem to decipher. I ain't gonna say we. Well, yeah, we. But the other camps, these other people, they will not accept the fact that they are not Israel. And partially is because in these camps won't allow them to accept the fact they in Israel. You beat it on them.
All right.
What was the analogy you gave last night with the dog?
If you beat a dog, okay, say a dog in your house, right? You brought him in, and he keep peeing in the house over and over. If you beat that dog long enough and tell him not to pee in that spot, what are you gonna do? Stop peeing. You trained him. So the same with us. We have been trained in our minds to feel like these people are our people.
Right. So here's another video, another clip. I don't want clipping y'all to death, but y'all gotta see this.
Yeah.
This woman here. Now, excuse the language in some of these videos, all right? Excuse the language, but y'all gotta see this stuff, man.
But this opened up my eyes too.
I'm gonna pause it, let it build up a little bit. Huh?
Unmute it. You gotta mute it too.
But yeah, so listen to this. Watch this, man.
So I'm gonna talk about these because I said I was gonna talk about it, and here I go. Relationships between Latinas, Mexicans, whatever you want to call it, and black men. Basically, in the Mexican culture, if you are seen with a black man, well, I'm gonna talk about my family. In my family, if you see a black man with a Mexican girl, she's a thirsty little thought that likes black dick. That's how they fucking see it. Like, since I was little, I would just watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, I would just sit there and watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because that show was the shit. It gave me so much.
So you had to be a thirsty little thought that liked black penis if you was a Mexican or a Latino or anything like that with a black man.
That's how they say still not today.
All right, so you had to be a whore, in other words, in their culture to be with a black man.
They shun them.
Much lessons. It taught me so many lessons. And my mom would always give me why you watching negros? Why you watching negros? Like negros? And it was like, oh, you know?
So what does that mean, what she said?
That means black, but black men.
So her mom was like, why you watching a negro?
Yeah, negra. Yeah. Right. A negra is a black woman. Negro is the black man.
Okay. So why you watching that? You like them? So I was just telling you she didn't like that already. Right. Instantly, but what you doing with that? Why you watching that? Don't you like them?
You like black men?
It's disdainful.
Right.
Watch this.
Annoying. And then I would listen to Tupac, Ice Cube and all that. And my mom's like, oh, ya vas con tu música de negro. And I'm like, Mom, are you fucking racist? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She's like, well, I'm not racist. We're all children of God. So my head is like, why are you so against black people then? She's like, no, I'm against black men because they use women. They use women and have kids with them and then they leave them. And then I'm like, well, isn't that what Mexican men do too? Like, not all of them, but isn't that what Mexican men do too? All the Mexican men are alcoholics and leave their wives or hit their wives. Isn't that our story? And she just stopped, right? So anyway, time kept going. And one time I went to fuck around with my mom. So
to mess with her mom, guess what she does? Watch this.
I told her that I had a black boyfriend. But this was a lie because I didn't have a black boyfriend. I wish I had a fucking boyfriend. I was a little lonely bitch with no boyfriend. And she said, like, Mom, guess what? I have a boyfriend. And she's like, oh yeah? Like, she got mad. And she's like, and I said, I have a black boyfriend. Like, her whole face changed. She got all fucking angry. She looked at me and she's like, el día que tú traigas a un negro a esta casa, que me larga.
I'll tell you what you said. So you ain't got a lot. I said, yes, I understand. Yeah. She said, she said, if you bring a black man in my house, you're getting out. Oh yeah, I told you.
If I ever bring a black guy to the house, I get the fuck out of there. I have no home. I'm kicked out forever.
So her mom told her, if you got a black boyfriend, get the F out my house and don't come back.
Never.
Forever.
Disowned her.
She's disowned for talking to a black man.
Now, what other races do that? The Moabs do it too. bring a black male to a Moab's house, and he is going to make a public example out of his daughter. He's going to embarrass her amongst their nation, disown her. The heathens do that.
Right. So, as you can see, these people clearly know it's a difference, but we the only ones who can't seem to accept it. They accept that they're not supposed to be with you.
Right.
That they not you. But we can't seem to accept that about them. Instead, we beat them into believing we the same people, so they accept us.
Right.
And then with that, you're no different than the slave master beating us into false religions.
Right.
Because how you making them believe that they're Israel? By manipulating scriptures in the Bible.
Right.
Same thing the slave master did, right?
Right.
Okay. So now let's
it's crazy, man.
Let's deal with Gad a little bit.
Oh, man.
All right, so turn the camera. I don't know if you should slide it back because I'm gonna play another clip in a minute.
My man's looking like I'm not sliding.
Just turn the camera away. It can get us. You just ended it. Oh God!
It was on the ball.
You off camera to be good.
Oh, because I turned it.
Good job.
Pause. Broadcast pause.
Okay.
See, you did a good job. I mean, if I
Oh God! St. John, it ain't your day with the camera, man. It ain't your day, man. Okay, I see. We still going. Lord have mercy.
Look at my man. He's like, I ain't putting
Today the camera is not with St. John. I don't know what's going on or what happened. What did you do? But the camera is highly upset with you.
Oh yeah, now they're getting exposed. What's going on? They don't like you to take cover.
Here you go. All right, so now let's deal with Gad a little bit. Y'all ready for me to expose a little bit of lies on Gad?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Gad. I said Gad. Let's go to Genesis 49. Genesis chapter 49, and let's touch verse 1 real quick. 1 and 2. Like I told you, I'm about to break down the whole 12 tribes again. When I tell y'all, man, y'all gonna be like, dang.
You said verse 2.
Start at 1 and 2.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So he said, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna befall you in the last days. Now, what you understand is we've been in the last days since the right. So, but this here, the last days was in that time too.
Right.
And then it was in that time of Christ. And then, so we living in the last days now for us.
Right.
Okay, so watch this, man. He said, I'm gonna show you things that shall befall you in the last days.
Verse 2. Gather yourselves together, and hear ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father.
All right, so now jump down to verse 19.
Verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Right, so it says, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Now, it's only one verse there for Gad.
All right.
Based off of reading that one verse, can you tell what Gad is or where he's located? No, because it didn't give you a location. It just told you in the last days, he shall Gad shall be overcome, and he shall overcome in the end. Now watch this. A troop shall overcome Gad. Okay, now that's just one verse, and it doesn't tell you where Gad shall be. So now Gad shall a troop shall overcome Gad. Now what's a troop?
Like an army.
An army, right?
Yeah.
So a troop is an army. Okay. Was Columbus a damn army?
No.
Okay. So Columbus won an army, which is a lie within itself. I'm gonna tell you the layers of lies that's in that. First of all, Columbus wasn't an army. Y'all agree?
All right.
Okay, second, they teach this themselves and never caught the lies that they were saying. They said Gad was where? They said Gad is what? The Native Americans, right? So now, if they're the Native Americans, that means they would have had to be where? America. Did Columbus even actually come to the shores of America?
No.
Where did he go?
To the islands.
The islands of what?
To the islands of Colombia and stuff.
No. To the island of Hispaniola.
Right.
Which is also known today as what?
Right.
Right. Which is also known today as what?
The island.
No. Dominican Republic. So how in the hell was Gad how was Gad a Native American if y'all saying he was conquered by Columbus and Columbus never even came to America? It's just layers of lies.
All right.
So now watch this. It says Columbus was not an army. So now it says Gad shall be overcome. But in the end, he shall overcome. So let's get it. Let's go to 1 Chronicles, chapter 5, verse 10. 1 Chronicles, chapter 5, verse 10.
First Chronicles, chapter. You said chapter 5, verse 10?
Mm-hmm.
All right. First Chronicles, chapter 5, and verse 10. First Chronicles chapter 5 and verse 10. And in the days of Saul, they made war with the Hagarites who fanned, and they dwelt in their tents throughout all the east land of Gilead. You ready?
Yeah.
And the children of Gad dwelt them in the land of Bashan unto Shalka.
Where you at?
That's 11.
Go ahead.
Joel the chief, and Shepham the next, and Janah, and Shaphat, and Bashan. And their brethren of the house of their fathers were Michael, and Meshulam, and Sheba, and Jerah, and Joshan, and Z, and Heber.
Where you at?
That's 13.
Go ahead. I ain't gonna even do you like that. Just jump down to verse 18. I ain't gonna do you like that. Just jump 18.
Serious, though.
Go ahead.
18. The sons of Reuben and the see here you go. I'm just playing. The sons of Reuben and the Gadites and half the tribe of Manasseh.
So you had some of the sons of Reuben, but you had the Gadites and then half the tribe of Manasseh. Watch this.
A valiant men able to bear buckler and sword, and to shoot with bow and skillful in war.
Right. So now they tell you when they read that verse and they just point out, oh, you see, they had bows. The Indians, they shot the Native American Gad, they shot with bows. Well, it didn't decide which tribe was shooting with bows. It just said that bows was in it.
Yeah.
Okay, watch this. What we at?
We still on 18.
Go ahead.
And we're 40,703 scores that went out to the war. And they made war with the Hagarites and with Jetur and Nephash and Nodab. And they were held against them, and the Hagarites were delivered unto their hand, and all that were with them, for they cried to God in the battle, and he was entreated of them, because they put their trust in him. And they took away their cattle
So because they were winning, so basically at this point in time in the war, they winning, right?
Right.
Why? Because they had a trust in the Lord.
Right.
So now jump to verse 25.
Verse 25. And they transgressed against the God of their fathers.
And then they did what?
Transgressed against the God of their fathers.
Read on.
And went whoring after the God of the people of the land, whom God destroyed before them. You ready?
Go ahead.
And the God of Israel of Pul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and he carried them away, even the Reubenites and the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh.
So them that were carried away captive by the king of Assyria. Second Ezra 13:40. No, I don't want you to go there, but does that sound kind of familiar?
Yeah, it do.
Oh, well, I ain't gonna touch that. Anyways, what I'm saying is, at this point in time, he said he stirred up the spirit of them and they were carried away captive. So what does that tell you? What happened to Gad right then?
Right.
He was overcome by a troop. That's the prophecy. Now it says he shall rise in the end. I'm gonna show you how that's actually talking about a man, which was Christ, the Messiah. Watch this. Go to so Genesis 49 and 18. That's 18. Read 19.
Genesis 49:19.
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Right. So everybody clear on when Gad was overcome?
Right.
It was in First Chronicles. That's what we just read. All right. So now let's get to the part where in the end he shall overcome, which is actually talking about the Messiah. I'll show you. Go to let's go to Hosea chapter 6, verse 9. Overcome at the last is Hosea chapter 6, verse 9.
See, 4 and 9.
6 and 9.
Okay.
Because you got to read this and then jump to where he overcame.
Hosea chapter 6 and verse 9. Strangers have devoured his strength, and he knoweth it not. Yea, great hairs are here and there upon him, yet he knoweth it not. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
And the pride of Israel testifieth to his face, and they do not return to the Lord their God, nor seek him for all this.
You said 6 and 9 Hosea?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
You're about to say I'm not hearing nothing that.
What?
Hosea.
I mean, Hosea. Oh,
6 and 9.
I was about to say
sorry.
I ain't hearing nothing. I was like, what the hell going on?
I know I'm looking at it.
What happened is when I'm looking, I didn't see I was in
You
chapter
need to stop
9.
coming up here reading without them glasses.
My eyes up to chapter 7.
Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 6 and verse 9. And as troops of robbers wait for a man,
As troops of robbers wait for a man,
so the company of priests murder and the way by conceit.
a company of priests murder. Remember that. As they wait for a man, and a company of priests murder. Come on.
In the way of consent.
In the way of consent. All right. Is that on that verse?
No.
Go ahead.
For
Finish.
they commit lewdness.
Come on. That's it.
That was in on verse 9.
All right. So now watch this. Now let's get that man that it was talking about. Let's go to Matthew chapter 26, verse 45.
Matthew.
Yeah, 26:45.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 45. Matthew chapter 26 and verse 45. Then cometh he to his disciples and said unto them, sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me.
So he is at hand, the one that doth betray me. Watch this, read on.
And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came with him a great multitude with swords.
With what?
With swords.
And what else?
And staffs.
Oh, so these people came with instruments to murder. Read on.
For the chief priest.
Who?
The chief priest.
What did they say was going to happen in Hosea 6 and 9?
Well, some priests.
Bingo. Read on.
And elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave him a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he. Hold him fast.
All right. So what happened? Who was the man that was killed?
Yeah, it was Christ.
And how did Christ overcome it? He rose. He overcame death in the end. All right. So the breakdown that they gave is not accurate. It's not true. Nowhere through this, when you break it down, doesn't tell you what Gad gonna be at. It tell you what he was took to though, and then it tells you how the priest would come to kill with consent. Well, how did they know who Christ was? Judas gave him the kiss. That was a sign.
Right.
And they came and they killed Christ, and Christ rose and overcame death. All right. So now, with that being said, I want to show y'all. Turn the camera, please.
All right.
Bingo.
All right.
Bingo. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you something about these people that they call in Indians. Because we know if you believe the lineage and the breakdown, you would know that Gad is actually Negroes. So now let me give you some history on these people they call the Native American Indians that they claiming to be Gad.
Gotta get some bigger words, coach. These small words doing it to me. Because it's so small, let it pack. Let the 7 be right there with the words. So I'm looking like, I know it's 6. Then you look there and the 7 is right there. I'm like, oh no, coach, it believe me.
I would have read the wrong thing because I read the same thing.
It's so compact.
0% Native American and 0% Native American and 0% who are Native American. We're gonna have to tell the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma. I misrepresented myself. I'm not Choctaw at all, you know. And you'll see there's no figure for Native American because you ain't got no Native American.
Set the record straight.
Even Don Cheadle, who we would expect to have some Native American ancestry because of the connection to the Chickasaw, members of your family owned by Native Americans. But we don't find any. Wow. And you're not alone in not having any measurable Native American ancestry. 1 in about every 20 African Americans only 1 in 20 has any significant amount of Native American ancestry. So apocryphal.
Now, didn't he just tell you that we were slaves to them?
Yeah, he just said it.
Okay, watch this.
Chickasaw Nation Freedmen Roll. This document is an official enrollment card for the Chickasaw freedmen, the former slaves owned by the Chickasaw Nation. Owned by the Chickasaw Nation. Owned by the Chickasaw Nation. Your ancestors were enslaved by Native Americans. Most people don't realize that the Cherokee, Creek, Seminole, Choctaw, and Chickasaw nations owned slaves. As self-governing entities, they weren't subject to the laws of the United States. So what?
Now, they say that these people went to a land to keep these laws and commandments. Now, it is a commandment for you not to slave your brethren.
Right.
If they was your brothers and they came here to practice the laws, then why were you slaves to them?
Right.
Let's keep it going.
What did this mean for Don Cheadle's ancestors? When the Civil War ended, the 5 civilized tribes kept their slaves. They refused to liberate them. The United States government didn't make a treaty with the Chickasaw until 1866, forcing them to liberate their slaves and make them citizens. The Chickasaws freed their slaves, but they did not offer them citizenship.
So hell, they can make them our people. That's it. That's it. That's enough. Did y'all hear enough to understand that, okay, the people that you think was your brethren was actually your slave owners?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go to some of the curses. Yeah. We ain't gonna play no more clips today. I think that's enough. Let's go to some of the curses now. You know I like to poke at them about not fitting these curses, so let's touch a few. We're gonna touch a couple of, we don't even touch a lot. We're gonna touch probably 1 or 2 of them and be done with this class. All right, so now let's touch the curses real quick. Watch this. I'm gonna give y'all something that's gonna be fairly noticeable for all of us. Watch how easy this be. Give me Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty.
Because the daughters of who?
Zion are haughty.
All right, so this is supposed to be the Israelite women.
Right.
Go ahead.
Are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and menacing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion.
Now, did he say I'm gonna do this to a particular the 2 or 3 tribes out of them, or did he say he's gonna do this to the daughters of Zion? Okay, so now he said he's gonna smite the crowns of the head. What's the crowns of your head? Let's prove it. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 15. Because the crown represents something that's glorious, right?
All right.
Okay, watch this.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a cover.
So if a woman have long hair, it is glorious to her. The Most High said he's going to smite the crown of the women of Zion's head, meaning their hair. Go back to Isaiah chapter 3 and jump down to verse 24.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 24. It shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. And instead of a griddle, a rent. And instead of well-set hair, baldness.
Instead of well-set hair, baldness. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. Now you tell me this. Damn people they telling you is Puerto Ricans and that they tell and Indians and that the people that they telling is supposed to be your people. Do they women suffer from that? Ain't all they goat hair down to their asses?
Yeah.
Salakia, forgive me.
Yeah, it is.
Now, they don't hate their hair. To them, their hair glorious.
Right.
But you know who do hate their hair? Our women.
Right.
Every corner you turn, our women putting other people's hair in their head. That's to show you how much they put other people's hair in their head. They dye their hair. Right. They cut their hair. They do all this crazy stuff to their heads. Why? Because they hate their hair. The Indians, they ain't so don't they so don't fit this because everybody who got good hair say they what?
Indian.
So obviously their hair ain't cursed. Because everybody who got somewhat of good hair think they Indian. The so-called Latinos out there that think that y'all teaching is our people, none of these women suffer from baldness. They all got long hair. They do not fit that curse.
Yeah, that ain't talking about leukemia neither.
They do not fit that curse. Any argument on that? They do not fit it. Watch this. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:64. And we touched this last week. Well, we're going to touch it again because I feel like touching it again.
28:64.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
The Lord said, I will scatter thee among all people. These curses was taught when he gave these curses. Did he give it to some of Israel or all of Israel?
All of Israel.
Everybody in the nation of Israel is supposed to suffer from these curses. He said they would be scattered amongst all people, meaning all nations. With that being said, where's the Africans in Mexico? I say Africans. Where's the Mexicans? Because we know it's we the Israelites. We know it's Israelites in Mexico.
All right.
Where's the Mexicans in Africa?
I don't know.
Dang.
So,
dang. So they ain't scattered amongst all people then.
No.
But you got Negroes literally everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Mexicans, they stop at Mexico, California, And Texas. That's pretty much it. If they ain't in Mexico, they in the USA. They ain't in Africa. So they do not fit that.
Nope.
They don't fit it. Finish the verse.
From the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
And that clearly lets you know from one end of the earth to the other. That clearly lets you know. That means in every nation, everywhere you can think of on the face of this earth, they were supposed to be in there. They're not there. Let's read on.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
Come on.
Neither which thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Even wood and stone. What does the wood represent again?
Christianity.
Christianity, which is the cross.
Right.
Everybody, we know Christianity all across the world, right? But it said the nation of Israel will be smothered in these two particular. What does the wood represent?
Christianity.
What does the stone represent?
Muslim. The Islam part.
Have you ever seen a Puerto Rican Muslim?
No.
What about a Mexican?
No.
What about a so-called Indian?
Heck no.
They do not fit the religions that the Most High said we will be scattered in. They do not fit this. Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. Let's do this. This will be the last one.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 54. So that the man that is and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
Hold on. The man that was tender and delicate among you, his eyes shall be evil towards who?
His brother.
Who else?
And toward the wife of his bosom.
And who else?
And toward the remnant of his children.
And come on, who else?
Which he shall leave.
Which he shall leave. Who else?
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat.
All right, watch this. Jump down to the woman part. What's that, 56?
Okay, yeah. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, but delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom.
Oh, yeah.
And toward her son and toward her daughter.
Now, watch this. If y'all know where I'm gonna go, you'll understand. Watch this. Okay. So he said the eye would be evil towards the brother, sister, mother, daughter, cousin, whomsoever of your family. Mexicans will pile up in the house 20, 30, 40 together and help each other and get along perfectly.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans, they will gang up in the house together and live peaceably amongst each other.
Right.
And help each other. And you know what else? They will not kick their kids out.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
They wait till they situated all the way.
Thing going. They get in one house together, 30, 40 deep, and they help one brother get right, and then he go get in his house, and then 30, 40, then they keep on until everybody eventually in their own spot.
Right.
Or they keep sending money back, building up what they building, and then they go back and live peaceably among their people.
Right, like and they got their own what they little reservation.
Yeah, and oh yeah, this is another thing too. You do know that the Indians got reparation for their slaves. I mean, for their slavery. The Bible tells you we would never get that.
Right. We still ain't get it yet.
Right. They kids get to go to college for free.
Right. They get scholarships for it.
Right. They get 20, I think it's $20K a week.
Yeah.
For the casino that's built on their reservations.
Right.
Back to this. Right. So the Mexicans, they gang up 30 and 40 in the house. They live peaceably among each other. They said they would be evil towards each other. Right. They don't fit that.
Right.
Put 20, 30 niggas in the house together.
It's going down.
Shit. You always saw that.
You know it. Right. It was just like a lot. It was a lot of us in there.
It's going down. You know what I'm saying? You put cousins in the house together. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a royal rumble. One of them be sleeping with the other one man, and he'll be sleeping with his girl. It'd be all type of chaos. Man, they share each other. The Mexicans share food. Man, nigga be ready to beat your head in. They got a consideration. Don't touch that because that's such and such.
Right.
Leave your food in the refrigerator in the house full of niggas.
Oh, it's gonna go.
Somebody eat you be thinking about that food all day at work, get home, ain't no food, they done ate it.
Who ate it?
Whole slice of cheesecake.
And you know what? Nobody know who ate it. That's the worst part.
Right. I don't know.
Nobody know who ate it except the person who want to see the fight. Right. He ate your food. Right. I told him not to touch it. He was like, man, F that. Right. I don't know. I was going all day. So they do not fit this. Right. They do not fit this. They do not fit it, man. As a fact, when we were just watching the pictures on the screen from the slavery of the Indians, did you notice that one of the pictures had them hanging us?
Yeah, I seen that. I ain't gonna lie, that messed my soul up.
But them your people.
It did.
Them your people. We out of here, man. Shalom and glory to the Father.
Shalom. All glory to the Father.
You can read Matthew 26 on your own time. Unless you want to read it real quick.
I was like, that's up, folks. You can see his face.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and put on his head and sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had
read it.
Oh. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. To them, why trouble ye the woman? For she have wrought a good work upon me. But ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she have poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this woman have done be told for memorial of her.
So we commanded by the Most High and Christ to bring out what this woman did, paying Christ for his burial, so that you women are important to this truth as well. So now, with that, it's a done daughter. It's official. They are not our people. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.